I'm going to talk reasonably with you all tonight in the segment from which we call From the Word. On Sunday, we had a visitor come to campus, and she used to study with us in our former days, and she left joining with us over theological differences. I don't know which one. And at the end of the meet service, I came up to her and I said, how have you been? And she said, well, I'm just sitting here and trying to figure out what you believe. That was the introductory. I smiled, but I could tell by the look of her face, she was not there to be humored. And so I said, I believe in Jesus. I believe in his shed blood. I believe in God. I believe in his redemption. And she cut me off. And she said, do you believe in heaven and hell? And now, this happens quite a bit. People who used to belong to the fellowship or appreciate the ministry that have denounced us for one reason or another, they often pop back up. And they generally, under the auspices of, they say, I'm just checking in, seeing what's happening. Hey, Shawn, there's a tangible difference between my brother, how are you, to, we're just here, stay over there. And typically on these return visits, they get angry. They let it be known that they disapprove of something, and then they dramatically exit. It's happened several times here to show how indignant they are over what we're talking about or discussing. And this doesn't need to be. I don't know why we have to do this to each other. I understand not attending a church because you don't like the music style or the services or even what's being taught. But when are people going to get to believe and think and openly discuss ideas relative to God and not receive the look that says, you're of the devil? When are we going to be able to just share things without people just freaking out and coming down your throat? And this path of acceptance works both ways. I have to admit, when I saw her, there's a part of me in my heart that wanted to pull the old pastor trick and walk up and say, you're not welcome here. That's in my flesh. I wanted to say that to her because I know kind of what she was going to be doing. And but you got to choose in Jesus' name. Are you going to receive people? Are you going to accept them? And not by me. My flesh was saying, tell her to leave. But the Spirit says you got to welcome all people. And so pastors can very easily exclude people from congregations in the name of peace and protecting the flock. And as congregates, it's really easy to dismiss pastors based on theological opinions and stuff like that. But witnessing this situation yet again on Sunday, it reminded me to remind you, our viewers. Wendy just sent me this thing that in July we had 5,400 viewers from 53 countries around the world. 5,400 viewers from 53 countries or more around the world. In Utah, it's not as big as it used to be, but it's going out to more people who are starting to say, and so I was reminded to remind you that whether you're a pastor or you're a congregate, we all, myself included, ought to try to step back a bit on opinion and policing each other and be kind and more loving in the name of our King. It's not natural, it's not easy, but it is in harmony with the fruit of the Spirit. And that's what we got to always try to go after.